At Indie Booksource, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm still Rob.
I'm still Joan. We're glad that you're here, whether you're watching us live or you're listening to us on a podcast. Welcome to the show, and we appreciate you being here. Remember to like, follow, comment, subscribe to our YouTube. And we have our first comment from Mr. George Dismukes, live.
Welcome, George.
And in living color. Go on board. Yay. No, GD on board. George Dismukes on board. Welcome, George.
I want to tell everybody that's watching on LinkedIn and YouTube, go ahead and comment. It looks like there's no one else commenting, and there's no one else there. There are other people watching on those outlets. Go ahead and put your comments in, and we'll post them here.
Yeah.
So we will be able to see them, folks.
We actually have 6 channels. 2 YouTube channels, 2 Facebook channels, 3 Facebook channels, and 1 LinkedIn channel. So you might be commenting on YouTube, and you're thinking, why aren't I seeing anybody else commenting on YouTube? Because they're on the other YouTube channels.
That's right.
And Tori Gates said, glad you are still here.
Thank you, Tori. We're glad you're here, too.
He meant George. Hey, look at who's in the house, people. Roxy.
Hey, Rox.
You guys are the best support for others. Well, thank you very much. Okay. You're going to like this comment. Richard Swint. Who are these? You'll be meeting him later, people, on his turn. Oh, look at who else is here. Charles Burkfield. Howdy. Prakefield. I'm sorry, I messed up your name. Howdy, Caleb, George says.
We're having a party.
Roxy says, hi, Cindy Davis, author. Need a bit more light. Yeah, we already told her that.
Yeah, we did that.
And Joe Conjol says, hi, Rob and Joan and the residents of Magnolia Bluff.
Marjorie's in the house.
Marjorie's in the house. Marjorie Deering says, hi, everyone. Hi, Marjorie. Glad you're here.
Hey,
glad everybody's here.
We got a surprise this week.
Oh, we did.
We did. Our friends at freshinkgroup.com sent us 2 of their books. Stephen G's sent us Invigilator. We're going to read it. We will review it. And also a copy of Papala Skies. I'm not sure if I said that right, but I think I did. Anyway, thank you. And everybody go to freshinkgroup.com and follow their podcast, and also check out all their books.
Which is on right after ours, not on our radio station, but it's an actual podcast. It's not a vlogcast. Okay, so Charles says, CW, are you ready for us to heckle you? Just kidding.
Tell him to knock himself out.
All set.
And Roxy says, hi to the top 3 kickoffs. So
there you go.
Roxy also says, nice. What a delightful surprise.
Well, before the whole hour's up, we should probably bring in our guests.
Yeah. Okay.
If we have to.
Oh, wait a minute.
Whoop, here we are.
Here we go. Paul Hollis says, hi, everyone. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So in case you're wondering, a bunch of those hecklers, Roxy, Charles, and let me see who else is in here. Richard, thank you. Are all authors on this same Magnolia Bluff series.
So welcome aboard, guys.
Let's start
CW
talking.
HAWES. PIRTLE, Cindy Davis. And let's get this up here.
Let's get.
There we go. Get that up there. And I guess first we need to talk to CW.
Yeah.
Hi, CW.
Great. Hello. Greetings.
Hello again. You've got your book coming out shortly.
Yes.
April 21st.
Yes.
April 21st, right? That's Death Wears a Crimson Hat.
Death Wears a Crimson Hat.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit. Well, first of all, give us an overview of Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles.
Okay. Well, the concept started, or I got the idea for it when I was at a virtual writers conference last year about this time. And I had never heard of it before. But I thought, geez, what a great idea. And we all, the underground authors, we had all just finished putting together and launching a anthology. And we actually did sort of a similar thing. We took a picture and everybody used the picture as an inspiration to write a story. Well, a multi-author novel series is kind of the same thing. You have something that holds it all together. And so when I had heard it at this conference, it was somebody was in a science fiction group, and they all the writers used the same robot character. That character had to make an appearance somewhere in their book. And so when I did some more research, I couldn't find that series, unfortunately. But what I did find were a whole bunch of romance writers. It seems like those women do anything, to try to sell a book. And there you are. They are indeed. And so I found several romance series that were all multi-author, all the way from a group of 4 women to like 20 or 30. I mean, it was a huge group. And so I presented the idea to the underground author group. I said we could possibly use Anthony Trollope's Barchester series as a model, because it was, Trollope had 6 novels in that series. They were all independent of each other, but they all used the same town and county, and there was a recurring set of characters. They were major characters in the first 2 books, and then they came back as major characters in the 6th book. But in the middle, he had other stories that were going on. And so we decided, hey, that works for us. We created, well, actually, we didn't create it. We really just discovered it. This town of Magnolia Bluff.
Yeah. It's always been there, right?
Yeah, it's always been there. That's right. It's and we discovered this town of Magnolia Bluff out there on Burnett Reservoir. Yeah. And there's the town green, and
here's the town map.
The town map, and it's that's our cover artist, Crispy and Thoroughborn with Wildwood Books.
Now.
Right, he's the one who actually drew those maps from a model that I kind of gave him, but his maps are way better than my maps. And so anyway, we got this town, we discovered it, and then everybody discovered a whole bunch of characters in that town, and we're each I like to think of writing as I'm just a channel. And these characters are alive, and they just channel through me. I'm the amanuensis. I just hold the pen and write what they're telling me to write. And so that's how I see it, and that's what we have here.
Let me read this banner for people who are listening on the podcast, and they won't be able to see this banner. And it says book covers and maps artist. The cover and maps artist is Crispian Thoroughborn, and his company is Wildwood with a Y, Wildwood Books, and the website is wildwoodpress.com. So if you love his stuff, consider him. And we appreciate him letting us use the maps.
And I think he's doing all the book covers for the whole thing.
Yes, he is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So
it'll be 9 book covers at this point.
We also
point,
have,
yes.
Roxy says, love it, CW is the instigator. Go CW. And Terrace Kerman says, I am a camera. Christopher Isherwood.
Yes. Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
And Joe Conjal is part of your wolf pack that you both
Yes. Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he's been a member much longer than me, but yes, we're in the wolf pack authors together.
Okay. Now, I don't think we mentioned at the beginning of the show, each one of you is going to do a book giveaway tonight.
Yeah.
So during your time period, we'll do a book giveaway. Actually, we
Right.
could do that right now if you want.
For CWs?
Yeah, for CW.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Here, I want to
Yes.
put up the cover again.
And that just to make sure, that is an ebook.
It's an ebook, and
Yes.
it isn't out yet. So
No,
each
it
of
isn't.
It's going to be when it's released. You will get it.
Well, actually, I already have a copy uploaded to BookFunnel,
Oh.
and so
There you go.
whoever are the 3 winners, they will get it pre-release.
There you
Oh,
go.
there's good. Well, here's CW's website, cwhaws.com. And this is how he spells his name, CWHAWES.
Yes.
His Facebook is CW Haws 1. I'm getting feedback on somebody's
Here,
computer.
yeah.
And his Twitter is at CW_Haws, HAWES. His email is cwhaws@cwhaws.com.
Making it easy for you.
Yep.
Yes.
And so now here's his book giveaway.
Okay, the first 3 people. Whoops.
Sorry.
The first 3 people to email cwhaws@cwhaws.com will win an ebook copy of Death Wears a Crimson Hat when it is released, possibly and more likely sooner, according to
Yes.
CW.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Phew. Okay,
Okay.
CW.
We can keep
Now,
the book giveaway up there. So
all
we
right.
can-
I will keep the book giveaway up there.
There you go. That works.
Start
Okay, tell us about.
typing away, people.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about Death Wears a Crimson Hat?
Well, Death Wears a Crimson Hat. My favorite color is red, and so I was trying to think of, let's see, what are we going to do in this little town, and so I thought, well, the first character that appeared to me was actually, hey, there's Linda. Hi, Linda. The first character that actually appeared to me.
I sound like I'm in a tunnel. So, actually, that's feedback, George. I'm getting feedback on one of the other computers. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. That's the first character that showed up was Harry Thurgood. He owns a coffee shop, the really good wood-fired coffee shop in Magnolia Bluff. And he's been there about 3 years and makes no money on the coffee shop. So everybody's wondering, where does Harry get his money to keep this thing running?
Oh.
And so Harry has a little bit of a secret past. I don't even know his past. So now, about the same time, 3 years prior to the story, a woman shows up to pastor the Methodist Church, the Reverend Ember Cole. And she and Harry, because they're newcomers to the town, and if you've ever lived in a small town, you know there are 2 groups of people: the ones who have always lived there and the ones who are new. They could be 10 generations, but they're new because they haven't always lived there. And so Harry and Ember are new, and so they kind of hang out together. And when the book starts, Harry's kind of realizing that, he really likes Ember. Matter of fact, he really likes Ember. And so, he wants to try to do something about that. And then a doggone murder gets in the way. Now, because I like red, I said, okay, so what's the antagonist in the whole thing, you know? And I decided that this is a nice German community, and many Germans, you know, anglicized their names when they came over here. And a very good German name is Fight. And so I said, hey, that's cool. Mary Lou Fight. And boy, does she fight. She's and her husband Gunter runs the bank, so they are big shots in town. And they go to Ember's church, of course, and Mary Lou does not like Ember. She likes a man pastor. And so and she really liked the man pastor before Ember, so you can take it from there. Yeah, yes, indeed, Roxy. It is.
He's laughing because Roxy just said, you like red and you like murder. Scary stuff.
Scary stuff, yes. So basically, Death Wears a Crimson Hat. Mary Lou Fight is the head of the queen of the Crimson Hat Society. There was some question if we should use the Red Hat Society, because there is such a thing, you know.
My mother belonged to it.
Oh, there you go. All right. So we decided, you know, rather than face a potential lawsuit, we changed it. So
good idea.
Yeah, good idea. We don't like those. So I called it the Crimson Hat Society. And,
that's a good idea.
And so they wear, you know, crimson hats and have yellow feather boas, and I don't know, they just do stuff. It's like one of the characters said when asked, well, what do they do? She said, well, we don't really do anything. we just have fun. And they said, well, I don't think Mary Lou has fun. And she says, you don't know Mary Lou. She has the most fun of everybody.
Wow.
She gets in on all the gossip, of course, and uses the society as her tentacles, you know. So anyway, so that's basically the story. You know, it's a typical murder story. She's a prima donna. yes, she is.
Yeah, Roxanne says Mary Lou Fight is a prima donna and a bee dog from H.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
You know what a bee is, and you know
yeah, we know it all.
I know, but this is a G show.
G show. So we have G comments. There we go. So right. So that's basically the story. And of course, as with any town, there's, you know, a whole host of side characters, and that's what I really, for myself, really enjoy about writing, is to just discover all of these people. And you know, for the group, I had to draw up some biography. A bulldog, yes. A bulldog.
Linda Pirtle is suggesting that a bee dog is probably a bulldog.
Yeah, a bulldog. Yes.
That's probably it.
Oh, welcome, Diane.
We have to say hello to Diane Elizabeth Astle. She says, hello, everyone.
Hello, Diane.
How are you feeling, Diane? We're glad that you felt good enough to come here and say hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And Charles says, I'm sorry, it is not a typical murder story. Too much.
So, well, that thank you, Charles. I'm glad, because I don't want to be typical, that's for sure. So, but that's just basically the story. And then it's a matter of Harry and Ember, you know, amateur sleuths. They end up because the police detective gets kind of stumped and doesn't exactly know how to proceed. They end up, rather than being adversaries, they do end up kind of working together. But so
Roxanne says could be a bulldog.
Yeah, it could be.
Diane, for those of you who don't know, Diane Astle has been suffering from an infection in her brain, which has been very difficult for her.
So everybody, all prayers and positive thoughts that you can send her way. She needs them.
Keep it going.
She needs them.
Oh, wow. That's
Joe Conchel says, it sounds like a great story to kick off the series CW. You know,
thanks, Joe.
It really does.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's I feel like I'm sitting there and I have like about 2,000 rifles all pointed at me to make sure this thing works.
Well, that could be because it was your idea to begin.
Yes, it was my idea too. So you know, that's a double whammy there. It was my idea. And then,
Roxy says hi, Diane, and Linda says take care, Diane.
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
She's had a rough year.
Yeah.
So April 21st, for all you that don't get the free copy because they didn't type fast enough.
But you should type now.
Type now anyway. That's when it comes out, and that'll be in ebook and paperback, and eventually audio maybe.
Well, I don't know. We haven't talked about audiobooks.
Haven't got that far with it. Okay.
No, we haven't got that far yet. If I can ever, I mean, if I can ever get my act together, I guess it's tough being a one-man band. You know, you only have 2 hands and 2 feet, and you know, so I actually took a wonderful course on DIY audiobook production, and I have the equipment, and so it's just a matter of actually doing it. And
good.
Yeah.
Good.
So well, yeah, when I get extra time. You know,
it only takes a minute.
Linda,
yeah, right.
As long as Harry has Ember, you'll be okay.
Yeah, well, okay, good.
Well,
good.
It's time to hear from our sponsors.
Yes.
All right.
It is.
And then we will be back.
Here, and I'm going to get rid of this.
Yeah, we have to get rid of a few things before we can add some things.
There we go. So sit tight, everybody. We'll come back. We'll talk with Caleb next. So Caleb, start thinking of things that you might want to talk about. I know what you want to talk about. I'm just kidding. All right, hang in there. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book 1 of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
People Who Like to Read Want to Get Their Hands on Books by Becca Jones.
Becca Jones, the breakthrough author who tells it like it is. It takes courage to tell a story when it reveals dark secrets. Becca Jones delves deep into the hidden world of sexual abuse. She tells what happened and also tells how she survived.
Meant to Be is much more than just entertaining. Meant to Be gives you a point of reference, hope to cling to, and becomes a guide for survival if you have suffered the same thing. Meant to Be, Becca Jones, a must-have.
Meant to Be is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites.
And we're back.
Welcome back. And
we have one more comment before we start with you, Caleb. It's from Roxy again. The Enigma series will use our favorite narrator, Derek Scholes. So that's good. Good to know.
Awesome. All right, Caleb, you're in the spotlight here. You've got your book will be coming out in May 20th, about probably close to May 20th. And that's Eulogy in Black and White. And there's a picture of the cover.
Yes. And as we said, Crimson has done all of these. No, his name isn't Crispin. It's Crispin.
He doesn't wear
Crimson
a crimson
was
hat
your
either.
hat.
Yeah. Well, he might. I don't know. How do I know?
Crimson's the color of my hat, and Crispian did the artwork.
I got to remember that.
Well, I was going to have Eulogy in Living Color, but since I'm colorblind,
Are you really colorblind?
I am.
Oh.
I see colors. I just don't see the same shades that anybody else does.
You live in your own world of color.
I live in my own world, and sometimes it's comfortable and sometimes it's not. But I'll tell you this. Well, one of the earlier comments said, welcome to the residents of Magnolia Bluff. And that's an author who understands what this game is all about. There you go. I stayed with my word machine here in North Fort Worth, Texas, but I spent several months living in Magnolia Bluff.
Yes.
Yeah. And you get up every morning and you walk down the street and you sit on the park bench in front of the library and you talk to the people who walk past and wait for somebody to tell you a story. And somebody always does.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most amazing thing, isn't it?
It is indeed.
As CW says, your characters are real people.
Mm-hmm.
They are real people.
I know.
and they will stay with you long after the book ends, whispering in your ear, when are we going back?
Yeah.
Well, one of the fascinating things about this multi-author series is that, just as CW mentioned, we all use each other's characters. So as you read through all 9 books, and they'll come out once a month from April through December, you keep running across the same characters. And CW and I were talking the other day, and it's interesting because we all see somebody else's characters with a different eye and a different perspective than the author did. But in reality, that's human nature. Mm-hmm. Because we know people, and you know them as one way, and I may know them as somebody else, and somewhere in between lies the truth. But the big problem we've had is the thousands of emails going back and forth. Don't put this person in your book because she ain't going to survive mine. So that has created both chaos and confusion.
All right. Chanel is with us. She says her aunt lives in Fort Worth. Chanel also is going through stem cell surgery. She has bone cancer and an 11-year-old autistic son. So all the prayers and good thoughts and good vibrations, whatever your particular belief will be, always keep Chanel in mind because we love her.
We will.
I hope you were here in time to get the first book. There's 3 ebooks going out today. Roxanne has a question for you. Caleb, who told the best story? Who told you the best story?
The best story may have been told by Fergus the Town Drunk.
And it's so something I had to say, especially the town drunk.
There you go. Because
Chanel's like, woo, about all the ebooks.
Every book has one eccentric character, whether it's the town drunk or somebody else. And after a while, at least in East Texas, we'd say they're not quite right. and after a while, they drift in and out so often, you forget they're there. And as a result, they hear everybody's conversation. They know who's doing what, when they're doing it, and why they're doing it. And if you sit and talk to them long enough, you can learn half the secrets, and then the town drunk will make up the other half.
All right, now wait a minute. We've got a lot of comments coming in like crazy. Charles Brakefield says, Caleb, your complaint is valid. We didn't mean to be our own internal spam. Wait a minute. There was one from Richard. Richard says, in Magnolia Bluff, everyone thinks they're a detective. Right? Yeah. And Linda says, Fergus knows everything about everyone.
Yep.
And then Chanel said, is he as fun as Andy's town drunk? You remember, on the Andy Griffin show, Andy of Mayberry?
Well, and there's a lot of truth in Andy's Town Drunk, because back in the early days when I worked as a newspaper reporter for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, during the winter months, we had this fella who, as soon as it got cold, he would go out and commit some misdemeanor so that the police would arrest him, bring him in, give him a warm place to sleep, 3 meals a day. And then when he would, and his deal with the police was, you can lock me up Monday through Friday, just let me out on the weekends, I'll take care of myself. And every Friday he would go to the same detective and ask for $3 because he hated to be out on the town broke. The detective would give him $3. When they arrested him on Monday, he'd give the $3 back.
Oh.
Wow. So you know,
Terrence says, did the Town Drunk have a unique interpretation?
The Town Drunk always has a unique interpretation, because we were talking earlier about everybody sees people from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Town Drunk has his or her own perspective. And like I say, they know who's putting on airs and who needs to be down in the gutter wallowing where they are. It's fascinating.
And Joe Conjal says, those are the best characters. I assume you're talking about the Town Drunk. And or a gossip, Richard. And Roxy was commenting on what Richard had to say.
We should probably do the book giveaway for
yes.
Caleb before we get
we love all the comments.
Muddled down. Keep on commenting. That's fine.
But
and find Caleb.
So I gotta find Caleb's.
Go through his. Oh, okay. Book giveaway for Caleb. The first 3 people to email calebpirtle2@gmail.com will win an ebook copy of Eulogy in Black and White when it is released. Possibly sooner, who knows? But
which will be around May 20th. But we know that CW already said that his is ready for those that are going to get the ebook. Right. So let me give you Caleb's contact information. Caleb's website is Caleb and Linda Pirtle, and that's CALEB, and you know how to spell and Linda's the normal way, and then Pirtle is PIRTLE, in case you don't know how to spell that. Caleb's Facebook is Caleb J. Pirtle. His Twitter is @Caleb Pirtle. And of course, his email, as we just heard, okay, I don't need to do that. As we just heard is, shoot, I keep losing things, people. Gosh, here we are. Oh, that's Cindy's. Whoop. Hey, Cindy, I gave you you a plug. There, I finally got it up. Oh my gosh. CalebPirtle2@gmail.com. Okay. All right. Plus,
technology is a wonderful thing.
It is.
Joe Conchel said, I might have missed this, but would you classify the series as a cozy or maybe a brosy mystery type genre or something else? That's to you, Caleb.
Well, I think the stories run the full gamut. You have your cozy mystery writers like my wife, Linda, and then Jim Callan. They will write cozy mysteries. I write a little bit more hard-boiled mysteries. CW writes wonderfully esoteric mysteries. I mean, he plays games with your mind, and other people. There are all sorts of variations in between. So I think that's what makes it unique. Nothing is ever quite as it seems from book to book to book. And as CW mentioned, they're all standalones. So there's not one of these gimmicks where you finish one and feel obligated to read the second. They're all standalones. And Eulogy in Black and White.
I'll read the question. Chanel wants to know who picks the artwork on your covers. And I will go through that again. And you all know I'm having such a great time finding everything that I need to find right now. We don't usually have this many. Here we go, Chanel. Book covers and maps artist. The cover and maps artist is Crispian Thoroughborn, and his company is Wildwood Books, and his website is wildwoodpress.com, and that's wild with a Y. Ooh, okay.
He's really talented, and it was CW's idea from the beginning. If all 9 books have the same cover designer, they will all have that look and feel that basically defines what the series is all about.
And here is yours again, Eulogy in black and white.
Yeah, Eulogy in black and white. You know, I grew up in the newspaper business. I've worked a lot of small town newspapers. I feel at home in small towns. I feel at home with the smell of ink and paper and small town newspapers. And the eulogies, everybody has a eulogy and an obituary, and they're all printed in the newspaper in black and white. And so that's basically where the title came from.
Caleb, you might be happy to hear this. I actually told a joke to someone who had never heard it before, and they laughed. And that was, what is red and white, or what is black and white and red all over, right? I can't tell it right now.
That's it. And the thing is,
my grandson,
hey, thank God for grandchildren.
This is all new to them, right? Yeah, it's great. Recycle them.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing, people in small towns appreciate their newspaper. People in large towns don't, because the small town newspaper, it carries every bit of information you could ever want to know. And then also, after a while, you learn to read between the lines. Like you were talking about the G-rated show, the newspapers are G-rated, but after a while, you know exactly what the reporter is saying. And
you want to give us a quick synopsis?
Yeah, a quick synopsis is my main character is a drifter who wanders into town. Nobody knows why he's there. Nobody knows why he would choose to stay here. Gets a job on the newspaper, and all they know is every morning he buys flowers from the flower shop, and he goes before the flower shop opens, but the lady always leaves a little jar of flowers out front, and he walks up to a grave in the cemetery and leaves the flowers and sits and talks for a while, and they don't know why he goes, or if he knew that person, or if they're both strangers to each other. They only know is that Magnolia Bluff at this particular point in time is waiting with dread, with apprehension, with fear, because March the 23rd is coming. And for the last 9 years, on May the 23rd, somebody always dies.
Oh.
And they look at their calendars. It's 2 or 3 days away. That they wonder who will be the victim this year. They don't know why there's a victim. There's no common denominator that ties the victims together. They only know that a killer is stalking the shadows and a killer is waiting to strike again.
Oh, that's
wow,
really,
that sounds fabulous.
That sounds great too. We have 4 more comments here. Let's see.
At least.
Yeah, I know. Diane Astle says, I love how you have cooperated to write and promote your books. You have great write-ups that really draw the reader in. As a church minister, I find it interesting that one of your characters is a female minister and Death Wears a Crimson Hat. Right, Diane? Yay, us. And Joe Conjal said, dad joke.
I think that was a typo. He meant bad joke alert.
And Charles said, not me, Caleb. I'm going to be 3D, so thank you very much. Now, let's see. Who do we have next? Roxanne says, Magnolia Bluff appreciates gossip like crazy because it's a small town and they read the gossip in the newspaper, even though it's not written that way. All right.
And back when I lived in Waxahachie, every morning, all the men, the farmers, would gather at the cafe and sit at a back table and drink coffee, and all they did was gossip. But you really didn't need a newspaper. If you just went down and drank coffee, you already knew what had happened, who it had happened to, and more important, why it had happened. Who had left whom, who had divorced whom, who had killed whom, and who had it coming.
Wow.
It was worth a dime cup of coffee just to figure it all out.
My father used to do that till he died, till the day he died.
Yeah.
Every day he'd go and he'd meet all his friends and they'd sit around and drink coffee and gossip and say that only women gossip. It's like,
what?
Yeah.
But for example, CW has Ember Cole, the woman minister. She plays a big role in my book, and so does Jim Callan's Catholic priest. So it's to have so many murders, we have a lot of the clergy involved.
something for everyone, right?
Something for everybody.
Roxy said, and the old men would play checkers on the porch and debated it.
And cheat.
And
cheat.
Chanel said, I go to the Moose Lodge and play cribbage with the town gossips here. LOL. That's funny, Chanel. It's a good way to be in the know.
I didn't know Moose knew how to play.
Oh, no, that's bad. Well, we have to take another commercial short break from our
Even
sponsors.
though we're really enjoying talking
Yes.
to
And
Kayla.
next up will be Cindy.
All right, so everybody sit tight. We'll come back. We'll have another book giveaway as well. And here we go. Wrong one.
Dear Lord, she's still alive.
Who's still alive?
Maris, that's who.
Come on, Angie, that's impossible.
Impossible or not, she's still alive, I tell you. She killed that boatload of people, and she's just getting started. There's no limit to what she will do.
It's not easy to kill a siren. It takes a formula and a plan. Siren Song 2 is the spellbinding sequel to Siren Song. Both novels by George Dismukes.
Siren Song 2 will be on bookshelves and bookseller websites in July. Don't miss it.
This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed?
We're back.
Hello.
Cindy, before we get started, there are a couple of more comments. Linda Pirtle says, in my book, they all meet up at the coffee shop to solve the world's problems.
There you go.
Women solve the world's problems. Men gossip.
October, but we have to wait for all the problems to be solved until October.
I heard that men are worse gossips than we are.
They are. My father used to go every day. I'm not kidding.
Did someone gossip and tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Charles Greenfield says the biggest problem we had for our story is who is still alive. And Terrence Crimmin says, oh, look out.
something he really does.
Yes, he does.
There we
It's
go.
just, okay. August Wilson got his great dialogue, not only from reading a lot, but hanging out in restaurants, jitney stands, and other places in Pittsburgh's Hill District.
Interesting.
That's really cool. Well, Roxanne asks, when is yours released? I'm thinking she meant you, Caleb, and we had already mentioned, maybe you didn't hear, but it's May 20th for those of you who didn't hear.
Right. Cindy will be June 20th. About.
And George Dismuke says, in San Leon, the Male Gossip Center is the American Legion post. All the fishermen meet there and tell lies. And Robert White.
Hey, Robert White.
Robert, long time no see. Robert is from Australia, from Queensland. And he says, hi, all. Hi, Chanel.
It's morning there right now, and
Yes.
hopefully it's a beautiful day for you, Robert.
Yes. Pay attention, Robert. We're having lots of ebook giveaways. You can get in on this. And Joe Conjal says, women solve the problems the men created. I think Joe's one of my favorite people. And Robert White says, men create the world problems and the women solve. Well, my goodness, Robert's right up there with Joe. They both said the same thing. That's so funny.
We have a winner.
And Chanel says, hello, Robert. Okay, phew. All right, Cindy. Let's chat. I'll bring up
Cindy,
your brand here
you're
in a second.
June 20th. You're going to have, or thereabouts, June 20th. The Great Peanut Butter Conspiracy.
Isn't that a great title, everybody? And look at that. That's a great cover, too. The Great Peanut Butter Conspiracy. Oh, yes. Shall we give Cindy's book away right away?
Might as well.
All right. Sounds good, right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I've already put it up there once.
You had a preview.
We have never made so many mistakes.
We're technically challenged tonight.
I don't know why. All right. So Cindy's website is cindydavisauthor.com. And Cindy is CINDY and Davis is DAVIS. Her Facebook is author Cindy Davis. Her Twitter is cdavis461. And her email, and dang it, I did it again. And her email, you guys don't know what I did, but I do. And her email is cindydavisauthor46@gmail.com. And
the book giveaway is the first 3 people to email cindydavisauthor46@gmail.com will win an ebook copy of The Great Peanut Butter Conspiracy when it is released.
And as we said, it should be released around June 20th. So that's really cool. Okay. Phew.
Got all the business out of the way.
Yeah. And we have 3 more comments.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Let's see. Oh, Roxy says, thank you for joining Robert White. Yeah, we've missed him. He hasn't been able to come on recently. Mm-hmm. And Roxy says, great cover. It is a great cover. And Paul Hollis said, they're all excellent.
Everyone's appreciating your covers.
They are. Yes. By Wildwood Press, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it right that
time. Confusion, though, because trying to get all the covers matched up and get all the logos together and everything, it's been crazy. We're talking about all the conflicting emails. It's really hard keeping them straight.
Yeah, and this is just 3 of you. There are 9 of you that are doing this. So,
And I think us 3 starting out in the beginning, we had it really easy because we had a big group email going the other day. How many characters are left? Who else can I kill? Who did you kill off?
But that's true. As Roxy would say, who got whacked?
I really loved it when CW suggested the small town, though, because small towns are so awesome to write about. Everybody knows. Yeah. I mean, if you sneeze over here, somebody down the block will hand you a tissue. So everybody or else they'll put you in the hospital. It's just been
Nell is already sent for Cindy and Caleb.
Yeah, I think all three have already come through.
Oh, wow. And we should give you CW's address too, Chanel. So don't.
Yeah, we'll do that before the end
leave.
of the show. Yeah.
Yep.
Hang in there.
Because you like his starts it. So anyway, go ahead, Cindy. I agree with everything you were saying.
Absolutely.
Well, my character is undercover, so to speak, or on the run. She's got a lot of secrets she's trying to hide. Being that she's a rich girl trying to get away from all the stereotypical rich girl things. She's been forced into boarding schools, and she's got a trust fund coming, and she just doesn't want any of that. She just wants to be a free spirit. So she ditches it all, gets herself a fake ID and a new to her motorcycle, and she just takes off. She ends up in Magnolia Bluff. She isn't there 15 minutes when she's gotten free pizza for life at the pizza parlor because she mouth to mouth to a customer who was choking.
Oh my goodness. That's quite a start, huh?
That is a good start. We have some questions for you, Cindy. Roxy says, why the toucan on the cover?
Why not?
Go there.
The character gets to the very next place she goes is across the street to the general store to pick up some things that she needs. And she meets up with some interesting characters there, one of which is the ghost of a guy who's just been murdered who owned the store. And the second is the toucan, who happened to be his pet bird. But after he died, the bird started biting everybody. And so they locked him in a back room. The person who's running the store, which is the ghost's son, just gives her a room out in the back. He feels sorry for her and everything. And she makes friends with the bird, and Diablo becomes her best buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. Joe Conjal says, Book 9 will have to go paranormal and somehow resurrect characters to kill again.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Chanel says she's out of reading material, LOL. Nice thing about chemo is you can read and read and read. Yeah. That and hopefully is killing your cancer.
So if anybody has any free ebooks of other titles or whatever, send them her way.
Well, they won't have her address.
Well,
Roxanne
let us know
says,
and we can get them.
Yeah, we can get them to
get you the address.
Our book none will have new characters,
book 9.
Joe.
Yeah.
Book book 9 will.
Yeah.
She wrote 9. Yeah.
What does that mean? It will have no characters.
No, she means new characters.
Maybe no characters.
Robert said some of the original houses here in town were built so close, like was mentioned, that one place sneezes and the house next door can pass the tissues through the window. They don't even have to be down the block. And Linda says to Joe, Cindy's character appears in a dream of one of my characters.
Oh, that is cool.
That's a nice little spin. And I like that Cindy's characters see ghosts. I like that. And Richard Schwint says it may come. Yeah, it's a wild ride.
So, Cindy, you want to talk a little more about your book without giving it all away?
When my character's name is Bliss, actually that's her pseudonym, she goes in and unpacks her things in the storeroom of the general store where she's going to be staying, and that's when Merrick the ghost appears to her. And once she gets over the shock, he tells her that he was killed, and he would really like her to help find out who killed him. And she's, I'm going to talk to a ghost. I'm going to do this for what? And tell people they're going to lock me up in a straitjacket.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he talks her into it. And the good thing is Diablo's really helpful because he brings clues to help out with the murder. They're very strange clues, and I won't tell what they are because it'll help give away some of the story maybe. But yeah, she goes out in the town and meets up with all the people. Some of the, like she loves the wood-fired coffee of CW's character. She gets really close with Isaac. Nope, sorry. What's his name?
Harry.
Harry.
The thing about Harry.
Yeah, thing about Harry.
Oh, wait, I remember that Hitchcock movie. Yeah, so she kind of gets friendly with a number of people in town and learns some things. Of course, she's an outsider, and they all know she's going to be leaving soon, so they don't hesitate to tell her things. And she eventually, with the birds' help, does figure things out.
Charles Brakefield wants to say to you, Cindy, thank you for letting us use some of your characters.
You're going to give them back when you're done?
Slightly used.
And Roxy says, this group of authors are all different, but all remarkable storytellers.
That is the truth.
And Robert White says, if you knew about the birds down here, there would be no way of locking them in the back room. We see pictures of the birds in his yard all the time.
Got some beautiful birds. Yeah.
And Chanel says Robert's birds are too loud.
They are loud.
They are
true.
They are really loud. Oh, hi, Chris. Chris Chrisman. I missed the reminder. I'm here now. Hello.
Welcome aboard.
The reminders go out late. And then Janelle laughed, and then Robert said, yes, they are. They are very loud. And yes, we have noticed that.
Diablo was loud on occasion to get his meaning across when they ask him questions, because he'll squawk or he'll coo or whatever.
Well, I love it that your character is going to solve the murder using a ghost and a toucan.
Well, it seemed a little different. I always kind of throw my plots out, someplace and bits and pieces, and when I pick them up, I see where it's going. It's been really fun. I write out of the box. And okay, this is the first time too. I'm normally one that plots out the whole story before I get going. And CW and Caleb, they said, oh, they're just writing along, going with it. And I said, all right, I'll try this.
Did you?
Well, part of the good thing too is Bliss doesn't realize that she's psychic. And on occasion, lyrics from Jimmy Buffett songs will come to her.
Yeah.
And they will be predicting the future. The problem with that is that they're right away, the future happens. It's not like she has time to mull it over and go, all right, I think this situation is dangerous. Maybe I ought to be careful. It's like, here's the clue, boom. So eventually she does figure out how to make the clues work and everything.
So Roxy says, have each of you read the stories of one another?
We definitely have. As a matter of fact, I'm reading Caleb's right now. And also Richard's right now.
And Susan Kite said that is a clever take on mysteries.
What, throwing all the clues out and seeing how they fit when you bring them back?
Yeah. Well, so how did that go for you, not plotting it all out? And did that work well? Did you enjoy it, or was it?
I guess it worked pretty well. It did mean a lot of rewriting and a little bit of confusion. And I'm working on the second book already, and I did go back to basic plotting, really rough draft plotting.
I know Linda really, Caleb's wife, Linda, who's been speaking. And, she said, Susan Kite said, the toucan and the ghost is the clever take.
Oh, thank you.
On the mystery. I agree. And George Dismuse says, do you have a nom de plume for your writers group?
We do. We're the underground authors.
Good. Second book, so round 2.
There's a good chance of it. I think at least 2 of us, or maybe 3. Is Caleb, you going for round 2?
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, all of the stories so far sound really great, and I want to see how they all fit together.
Well, I can say that having read Cindy's and Caleb's, that they're dynamite books, and each is very different, and each is very good. And so I just hope I'm a good act to precede them.
Whoops, forgotten, left the evil staff laying around, LOL. Roxanne said, my issue is who will be alive for round 2. Yeah. Well, like Joe Conchal said, you'll just have to resurrect them all.
That's a great thing about writing.
Yeah. I want to quickly go back to our banners and then tell everybody's book giveaway again. And So here's Cindy's. You want to read that one?
Yeah, the first three people, or the first people to email Cindy Davis, author 46 at gmail.com will win an ebook copy of The Great Peanut Butter Conspiracy when it's released. And then for Caleb's, it is the first three people to email PIRTLE2 at gmail.com will win an ebook copy of Eulogy in Black and White when it is released. And for
And
CW,
here for you, Chanel.
the first three people to email CWHAWES at CWHAWES.com will win an ebook copy of Death Wears a Crimson Hat right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right now. And we have 3 more comments. Let's see. Joe Conjal says, who came up with the Underground Authors and why that name, Cindy?
Oh, I don't even know. We did a Zoom meeting and all of us were together and it just kind of came out.
Okay. Terrence says, it's refreshing to see fiction writers who work together, as such writers are too often romanticized as lonely iconoclasts.
I think we really are. I think we are.
But you're watching this group, right? And we meet with different people every week. Yeah, none of us are lonely iconoclasts. We're all talkies. Chanel said, do you listen to music when writing or do you watch TV, Cindy?
I don't watch TV at all. I listen to Rick. No, no, I don't listen. I will occasionally listen to music, but it's got to be more like classical or something because the words distract me. Yeah. Or I end up singing and I don't get any writing done.
So do you like it to be quiet when you're working?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you work in the morning or the evening? Do you have any particular time that you work better?
I work mostly mornings and then we play in the afternoons.
That's what I thought. I knew that, but other people didn't. So Charles Brakefield says, Count Brakefield and Berkey for the next round, please. Yes, you will get to meet Roxy and Charles on the next round that we do with these wonderful people.
And speaking of that,
yes.
July event, we're going to have part 2 of the reveal, and we will be featuring Jim Collin, Rox and Charles will be on. Rox Berkey and Charles Brakefield and Berkey, and Richard Schwinn will be on.
In September. He releases
his book will be in September.
The show will be.
Rox and Charles, theirs is in August.
Yeah.
And then our October event is going to be part 3, of course. Linda Pirtle, her book comes out in October, Kelly Marshall November, and Jinx Schwartz in December, finishing out the year in Magnolia Bluff.
And we'll see how well they were able to murder people off when there were slim pickings at the end of the day. Especially Jinx. That's too bad.
It sure is. Bringing up the back of the train there. Mm-hmm. So, Cindy, any parting words that you would have about your about the whole Magnolia?
I just want to say how fun it was finding out about all these authors because we've been communicating back and forth for quite a while prior to talking about the anthology. And so when I got to read, I did some edit on the whole anthology. And when I got to read all 9 authors together, it was like, whoa, I can see where their minds are working going. Because we just used a picture of a boat on a beach. And I could see everybody ended up with different genres. It was amazing.
Richard Schwinn says, I have a complaint. Linda's character keeps showing up in my book and almost solves my murders. Linda Pirtle said, a stranger comes to town, he should have stayed home. Mm-hmm. That's also Cindy's character is a stranger coming to town.
Well, it made me think of that in Caleb's book because May 23rd, a person dies. I'd be out of town that day.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
But would you return?
Yeah, the 24th.
The 24th. George Dismuke said, great show, complex and great. And Chanel said, I live in a small town called Holland, Wisconsin. Oh, we used to vacation there, Chanel. And for the first few events I went to, they made us feel like shunned neighbors. Now we're all good, and I love living across from a giant apple orchard. That's
We're in
nice.
Holland, Michigan.
Holland, Michigan. We went to. Never mind. I've
Different
never
Holland, but not the one across the ocean.
Susan Kite said, "What a great premise for a series." I agree. And Linda says she needs counseling.
Talking about me?
No, the character. Joe Conjal says, "Great show, everyone. I'm really looking forward to this series."
Thanks, Joe.
And Roxanne said, "Go, Linda." Yeah, it is. It's really something to look forward to.
Caleb, any parting comments about the series?
Yeah, by book 2, Magnolia Bluff will be a ghost town.
Wow.
But that'll be fun.
The other books will be very short.
And you could have us come to town and we could investigate.
You're welcome. You can come figure out where they all went.
There you go.
And we're hoping Richard Schwent, who's a psychologist, can include in his book why so many people die in a little town like Magnolia Bluff.
Well, it's like Midsummer. I don't know if you've ever watched that British series, but you know, Rob and I always say we're never going to Midsummer.
Not going to vacation there. That's for
It's
sure.
not a real town either. But however, we wouldn't go there. And watch out, beware anyone in a black hood and black gloves.
Boy, that's for sure, right?
George,
Pitchfork.
Yes, I live in a small town called San Leon, aka Mayberry, Texas. Chanel says they can come to my town, and Richard said, "I do my best." Oh, Paulette, did I miss yours? I thought I said it, but if not, very exciting show. Paul says, "I'm looking forward to reading the series. Thank you all." And Robert White says, "As long as Magnolia Bluff doesn't get the land titles or cemetery doesn't get owned by
There you go. There you go. Good point.
Good job, Robert.
And that's the truth, man.
CW, any parting shots?
I just want to say that you know, this group of writers, I'm really honored to be part of the group, and they're fabulous. And so I as a reader am looking forward to the series. I think what I've read so far is just fabulous, and I can't imagine there's going to be a clinker in the group.
Well, I think you're all doing the reading public great service by doing this. I really do.
It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be fun.
Really fun.
And we really appreciate you all letting us come on tonight.
Yes.
You are a wonderful supporter for waiting for crying in the wilderness.
For sure.
Thank you. And Roxanne says, "What a fun idea doing book clubs all over the country." And Chanel says, "I used to say she was my aunt when I was a kid, Robert, LOL," talking about Jessica Fletcher. Charles Brakefield said, "Thanks all." Diane Astle says, "I am very impressed." Chris Chrisman said, "There are never enough books for us to read." And that is the truth, Chris. We all need to keep writing, including yourself.
That is true.
Yes.
All right. So I think the time has come where we need to move you guys over.
Richard says, "Thanks, Rob and Joan."
And you're welcome. And I'm going to push you guys over. There we go. That was easier than I thought.
This is an important one, though.
Okay, sure.
Roxanne said, "Underground authors would love reviews on each. Who will be the best post of reviews?" And that's true. If you like a book, review a book. Please say what it is that you liked about the book, because I read reviews to see, is this going to be something I would like? And I can tell that by they do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good to me.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, I guess we're almost done here. This coming Saturday, right where you're at, you can join Episode Rewind this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's April 9th. Del Leonard and Rick Benson, their episode is on. I think it's episode 19 from last year. And then next week live, we have a pre-recorded new episode because we'll be out of town, possibly. But we have a pre-recorded new episode with Canadian young adult fantasy author A.G. Fletcher. It was a very interesting and good episode.
Yeah,
we enjoyed visiting with him.
I think I might have told some of you about it last week that his job while he's writing, his other job is he works in the greater Vancouver Zoo as a maintenance person, and he does a lot of interesting things there. But mostly he gets to be around all those animals, which I think is like, close to being in heaven.
There you go. Very close.
Yeah.
So I guess it's that time again. Until next time.
That's all, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.